What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today with a re-recording. It's horrible. I just uploaded the video basically, and the first two comments were no audio. And I was like, nah, why? Because that's the most horrible comment you can get as a YouTuber. Found out, well, my physical switch for the microphone was turned down. So, well, we're doing it again. Of course, you kinda missed the summons. I wanted to do a video about Silven, with the summons and everything. Well, I did actually do that. The summons were horrible, to make it short. If you didn't know, you can always check them out by just clicking support here. This will open up this small window, and then you can go into your recruitment history. You can see my ID and everything here, and then you just select the rate up recruitment that we did. Okay, last 24 hours, that is sufficient, and will pull up all the results that you got. So we got the draw count 211, which gave me, well, 48. Guess it wasn't too bad, 48. It's every 40 is guaranteed, so you're kind of, well, not that's exactly at the pity timer. I have seen worse, I have seen better. Guess it's still okayish. Not really too insane, by the way, because people were a little bit confused about this, and I saw it as like a big news thing on Reddit recently. There is a bundle reload button here, so in fact you can, per month, I think it's like 5 bundles, you can just reload them. Those are the pop-up bundles, and buy them again if you want. So if you want to have like a Stargate Station bundle, you click that, you click bundle reload, it consumes 20 of your points that get refreshed every 30 days, and then you have to restart your client for the pack to actually appear. But that is an option, so just wanted to mention that. Silvin, however, really cool hero. Really cool hero. I got him now for Supreme Plus. I was very surprised yesterday to see that he's already like used in Tower. He was used in the tower yesterday, was the Lightbearer tower, and he's in there. He has some pretty cool effects that I really like. First of all, 500 initial energy, very, very good start for a fight. And then he can summon those blades. And basically every normal attack, you can see it right here, sends out those blades to the enemy. And that results in his normal attacks doing vicious damage. Absolutely vicious damage right here. You can combine that with multiple abilities. We can see this ability right there, basically every 4th normal attack will do that. And of course, having a hero that heavily scales up off his normal attack damage also kind of means you can buff him very well with attack speed and haste, both alike. After doing his ult, you want to basically get an ult at least every 8 seconds to keep up his blades, because those last for 8 seconds, and then you want to go in with the normal attacks. But that actually does a ton of damage. Let me show you. So fighting my guild leader Dark Day here, we do have a little bit of Paragon advantage. Sadly, testing on such accounts is still horrible. When we don't have Pioneer, it is a little bit of a mix where we have like a low hero, and you have to imagine a damage dealer hero usually heavily profits from being at a high Paragon, because there is such a thing as damage boost and damage reduction, and essentially the lower your Paragon, the lower it also directly affects the damage output that you do. So if you have a team with high support heroes and a low damage dealer in general in PvP, that won't do very well, meaning it is rather important for you to have high damage dealers. Nonetheless, this guy does pretty well, and I want you to keep an eye out, first of all, for him immediately ulting at the beginning of the fight, and furthermore, for the speed at which he takes care of those enemies, especially the outright damage that he can deal to the Daemon. Keep an eye on that. So let's see, we have double speed deactivated, immediately ults at the beginning of the fight, and from there on out we get the normal attacks with true damage. He can deal true damage with his normal attacks. It, on paper, doesn't seem like a lot. In combat, yeah, does seem a whole lot better. We will see him fight the Chimera now, and you can see how much HP really goes away. And I have to say, I really would like to see him at like P4. I wonder. It has me thinking that he could be very good in like a situation where you have like even endgame PvP, because his damage is just so good. He also tanked a lot of damage. Tanking is not something that he can't do, because he actually has a very interesting ability. It's not this one, it's this one. We saw this little field around him, tempered field that is called, and he increases his range def by 48, which means he takes 48% less range damage, and very nice combination. I didn't really explain it beforehand, but as long as there is no ally on enemy on our side of the battlefield, Kulu increases her range def by 40, and then other allies receive half of that. benefiting by 50% of the value. So you can see if you have 40% range def, you get another 20%. Essentially, that would mean he has 60% range def. Yeah, not bad at all. Pretty good. I even managed, and that was something that I thought was kind of funny. I sent it against Brownie's team that he set up, and he did pretty well against that too. I don't know if we can beat it this time, because I pretty much got like a good hit against him. And I used that for the initial recording and put that in there. I made it look pretty good, but I'm not sure we can do that again. The Kulu, I think we can remove that, because he's using the Fentival here as well, so maybe we try that. I was thinking about this, and honestly, what I'm pretty annoyed by is that we don't have the Tesio Fentival anymore. Because this guy pretty much benefits from not moving. That is his thing. This field that we just saw, that is only active when he's not moving, so we really don't want him to move. He has 7 range, so it works pretty well. And so you can combine him pretty well with Hugin. You can do like a little bit of a Callan thing here too. I put Alna to protect him a little bit, because, well, those are P4 units, they would absolutely destroy him. But with the Tesio, he also had like those benefits for staying on your side of the battlefield, so I think that would be really cool. That would have been really nice. But it's difficult, I guess. It's difficult now, we don't really have that. And we do have other options. The question is, what do we go for? Do we just go Walker? I could see us really just go Walker. With the instant CC that we throw at them. It's a big Paragon difference though. I don't know. Let's see if we can do it. So we should get instant CC from the Walker grenade there. Of course, like half of his team is unaffected though. So we're really mostly relying on this damage. Let's see how much damage we can do against the P4 unit. Last time Kulu saved us, but she's not here to save us now. So it is remarkable damage still, I would say. It is remarkable damage. 2 kills already from a Supreme Plus unit against P4s. Okay, that Callan is going to hurt us. The Callan is actually going to be a problem, because we don't have enough HP ratio. The Siren. Ooh. Let's see. Come on. Do your job. There we go. Okay. That is actually insane. That is actually insane. That is probably one of the best A tiers we have gotten so far. I mean, Zenny is greater in PvE, and I guess this gets more recognition in game, but that is some serious PvP damage. In PvE, I tried him yesterday in Lightbearer. It was good. It was good. He also has a little bit of CC. So if we check this out, we saw every 4th ability gets the special mark where the blades fall from the sky. That's called Blade Mark. You get Gravity Collapse, and this gets you 2 seconds of CC. Isn't too substantial, because you need like the 4 normal attacks, and you need some quite good attack speed buffs also on top of that. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. He also gets some decent attack boost. I guess in this situation, that is a nice one. That was a nice one. We had like some very beefy units. The Thador here, for example, how quickly it took him out. That is pretty insane. That is pretty insane. I really like that, honestly. And also, on top of that... Oh, by the way, I have to mention that before we continue, maybe. Or no, let's put it at the end of the video. A-tier hero, basically from the Lightbearer faction. We don't really have a whole lot of Lightbearer faction. We still, it is an interesting thing, maybe. For the factions, some feel more complete than others. Of course, inherently, none of those are, because we're always going to get new heroes for them. But if I think about like Graveborn, I can build like a Graveborn team. Easily. Chimera, Cal, Ludovic, Nero, Damon, put them together, you have a team. Very nice. But for some factions this is different. Like for Lightbearer, we have a good solo heroes. We have something like Perseus, we have Siren. Good Siren you can put into many teams. We have some heroes that are a little bit outdated. Hugin felt outdated, but together with Silvin, okay. Cassidy, Shadow Essence didn't really do it. And then you have heroes that don't really combine too well, or that you wouldn't really want to have together with the other heroes. Like, if you go with Silven, you probably don't really go with Sonya, because like mixing the melee and like the range stuff often doesn't work, other than maybe you wanting some extra attack buffs on your Silven. That could be an option there, but like they don't really have the combination potential here. So that is still like a thing for this faction. I think they are now working towards more the stationary stuff, but I feel like they still need like one support hero, something that replaces the Callan that we had in this lineup, something that gives them enough and sufficient protection, because having the protection, like in this case, just on the hero that basically does the damage himself is cool, but I don't know if that's really a thing. Still, nonetheless, a very, very cool hero. That definitely I think is worth having at least at Supreme Plus, because I think you will see him in the tower probably. I haven't seen him yet in Dream Realm, so yeah, that's a thing. By the way, if you want to support me on this channel, then I would definitely recommend you check out LD Shop. That is your best source of Dragon Crystals for AFK Journey. You can get the Dragon Crystals here a whole lot cheaper than in-game. And if you register an account through the link down in the description, you get another 15% and a 5% discount coupon, and you support my channel with every purchase. So that is definitely a great thing to do and something that absolutely helps me. Personally, I really like the 3000 Dragon Crystal packs that gives you the best value, or the new user offers. You always get like great offers on the Classic Gazette, and Classic Gazette gives you a ton of gems so that you can do your raid ups a whole lot easier. And you can see there are always offers here on the Classic Gazette, so definitely helps getting it through there. Maybe in the future they can do the self-top-up thing as well, but if that happens, then I can also show that to you. So definitely, if you want to support me, hit that link down in the description. So what I also wanted to mention, we really don't have too many great units for A tier in Lightbearer. Like, there are some. Zandy, obviously a great unit. You can say Sinbad to an extent. For some bosses he is still used. I reckon it's still better to have him on the account than not. Hugin hasn't really seen any play. Mirel hasn't really seen any play. Corrin hasn't really seen any play. Walker is a decent enough PvP unit. The rest is like, I guess Fane, Ravaged Realm, but only because Lightbearer really has no proper support units. That's really the only reason. So having a very good unit there for the A tier, I think is something honestly quite good. You could probably argue that you could go Zenny and maybe Silven at the same time. Or you go Zenny, Sinbad, and then Silven. But then it's like you are in the realm of optional heroes where you can easily do whatever you want. But I guess Silvin is a pretty good early choice now for Lightbearer. So a pretty great hero, I'm not going to lie. And a pretty strong PvP hero. I wonder if you could really set him up early, what you could do then. Because I think honestly that is pretty good power that he brings to the table. And a pretty good hero, not like I guess we could still get more power out of him, because what he has, like mechanically wise, we has this ability. I mean, obviously you want to go do the ult so that your next normal attacks launch those blades. Then you have this ability that does the blade mark, and this gives you the gravity collapse. This is just plays into all of it. This isn't really something you need to focus about. It's just do as many normal attacks as you want. That's your goal. And then you have this tempered field, which means you don't really want him to move. And then you have attack speed, just more normal attacks, which is nice. And then you have this is interesting. This is a temporary stat buff. You want to make sure he gets like 2 temporary stat buffs at the start of the fight so that he immediately ults, because he has 300 energy per temporary buff from each ally. So 2 allies have to each give him a temporary buff. And then you can do like the 500 energy, and this will immediately result in him ulting. But I guess you could get more power from that, because he permanently gains 4 penetration. He also permanently increases attack for a speed of both himself and the ally by 16. So I guess with now more charms in play, and I guess for maybe a Supreme Arena team, many heroes that really don't buff a lot, like stuff last season it was Gerda, for example. I actually don't know which buffs she has right now, but she could be an example for that. And many heroes that don't really give permanent or temporary buffs, they gain them through charms. Last season that was Gerda itself. Okay, this season she doesn't, but last season she did. And they grant temporary buffs, despite usually not doing that. So there is some potential, actually, for that also happening this season. So I would need to test that, but usually if a shield grants something else, that is considered a temporary buff. At least that was the case for Damien. I'm not too sure, I haven't tested if this one is a temporary buff as well. Well, sadly it doesn't count. Not sure if it's a bug. But yeah, doesn't gain any energy from that. But there are some effects that usually do that. So keep an eye out for those that can help. And other than that, I mean, you always can just use normal temporary buffs. Everything that has a timer essentially is a temporary buff. So that always will lead to him gaining more attack and more energy. So it's definitely a very helpful thing. And I think he has pretty big power for that. So obviously a very good hero. Other than that, and maybe for the end of this video, just wanted to point out that I also finally got my creator frame. We have the official community creation event frame that we got right there. And I got that. I didn't even really understand it at first. They had made like this little community thank you post for creators, where essentially they announced some winners, which were, well, big creators for AFK Journey mostly. And told them that, well, that they have won and that their participation, thanked them for everything. And you would get a frame, a title, and also a homestead decoration. I haven't received the homestead decoration yet because apparently that arrives in with the next patch. But I got the frame and I wanted to show that to you guys because I think it looks pretty awesome. And I got the title. The title is Inkling Master. It's only available through that. I think it's pretty cool that I now have a frame and the title that basically, well, not no other has. I mean, other people like Puzzle and Zebo and stuff, they obviously have it too. I think Brownie has it. So like a lot of the other creators obviously have it too, but it's still fairly unique. Especially like on my server, so that's a cool thing. I really liked it. I wanted to show it to you guys. So yeah, that has also now arrived. Other than that, if you want to support me, then definitely hit that subscribe button. Other than that, I would really care about your opinion about Silven. Have you summoned him already? Then tell me down in the comments what you think and if you've used him in PvP. And other than that, I just wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.